everybody, this is Rod Meldrum, the Book of Mormon Evidence Guy. This is going to be episode 2 of a 2-part series of an interview here with my good friend here, Bob Goodwin. He is an expert on lots of different things, but he's specifically a historical expert when it comes down to...
hysterical one.
Hysterical one of the two, exactly. I mean, we both get a little hysterical at times. And then also we have with us our dear friend, Brill Hernandez. He's here and at the board. So last time we talked a little bit about some things that we didn't even talk about this painting. We're going to tell you about that in this episode. But we talked a little bit about the Founding Fathers and the St. George Temple and how the Wilford Woodruff had the work done for the Founding Fathers and many of the signers of the Declaration of Independence and so forth. And then how you were doing that kind of research, and then you happened onto a page a couple of pages back from where the Founding Fathers were when you're looking at the St. George Temple Registry. How many of you even knew that there was this thing called the St. George Temple Registry? It's actually all been put into microfiche, and you have to go up to Salt Lake to be able to get that information. Right. And they don't just let anybody in. You have to be a card carrying.
I had to show my recommend.
Yeah.
To get into the...
Yeah. And so he did that work, and essentially he showed me some information, and then I was blown away by the Founding Fathers, but I was even more blown away by what he showed me in one page that he had back, a couple of pages from the Founding Fathers there.
6 pages later.
That had Native Americans. And we're going to tell you about that, show you, if you'd like to see these, the actual images from the St. George Temple Registry of who these Native Americans are. Why is this important? And what has been the result of these Native Americans now having their work done for them on the other side? I think you're going to want to hang on and buckle up, because the Native American, the day of the Native American is coming.
At the last count, which is a little back, over 20,000 endowments had been done for the descendants of these people.
Yeah. And also I know that there's been over 500,000, if not more, Native American names that have just flooded into the temples all over the world.
That's right.
And I think it's a direct result of some of this information that we're going to share with you.
Indirectly,
beginning right now. Now, before that, we do have to pay a couple bills here. We've got a couple, as you can see, we have Legacy Tours and Travel over here. Legacy Tours and Travel is my preferred, and in fact, it's my only travel agency. Love those guys. Mark and Jill Clifford are just fantastic people, and Chris Kimball is also a part of that. We have some awesome tours coming up here next year. Hopefully, Brill's going to join us on a couple of these things. But
we'll see. We've
got the American Covenant Sacred Histories tour, wherein we talk about how America is a sacred
no
land.
wonder I can get in touch with it.
And it's fantastic. Chris Kimball and I do that tour together, and we've been all over the world together, Egypt and Israel and so forth. But this is, I think, my personal favorite tour with her, to be able to do that. She brings in the Knights Templar information and so forth.
Oh my!
It is talking about all of the different sacred histories here in America. Yeah. Then we're going to be doing an Iceland tour, going to Iceland, and spending about 15 or 16 days in Iceland. Right during the big eclipse that's going on over there. There's amazing geological things there. Not a lot of Book of Mormon stuff in Iceland, but we're going to talk about the Book of Mormon anyway, because that's what we do. And then the last one is the chronology tour, the Book of Mormon chronology tour. Probably my very favorite tour, because it starts in Florida.
Basically. Oh, I wish I were 80 again.
you know when you go, I wish I was 80 again. It's like, that's awesome. How old are you now?
86.
86. Okay. So yeah, but the chronology tour is literally following the Book of Mormon chronologically from Lehi's Landing there in Florida area and up through the heartland of America as it blossoms into the land of Nephi and the land of Zarahemla and the land Bountiful. And we actually finished the tour on top of the Hill Cumorah in New York, overlooking that final battlefield.
Been there.
And it is a phenomenal tour. We start off in Florida, and it's in October, so Everything's green in Florida, but by the time we get up to Cumorah, everything is in full autumn splendor. It's just absolutely the most
Let me
beautiful
edit
time of
that.
the
I wish
year.
I was 70 again.
There you go. All right, well let's hop into this. Oh, and also I want to thank Cardio Miracle. Cardio Miracle is another one of our new sponsors that we're excited about bringing on board. I've been now taking Cardio Miracle for probably about a month and a half, and I think, as you can see, my energy levels have not suffered.
Yeah, we're good.
They've actually gotten much better, and I think my mental clarity is
so
actually
much for my age.
There you go. Take Cardio Miracle, you never die. Anyway, so let's jump into this. So last time we talked a little bit about the St. George Temple and the Temple Registry. I'm going to hop right into this. So this is the St. George Temple here. You can check that out. This is the page that started our
Quantos on
this is the page that started us going. He had the founding fathers and so forth. You can see that in the previous episode. And then this is the page that it caught my mind. I go, wait a minute. It says Algonquin Chief, Joseph Brant. Wait. Red Jacket, King Philip, Pontiac, Tecumseh, Black Hawk, Powhatan. I'm like, whoa, okay, these are all Native Americans. Algonquin, and I started reading down Mohican, Wampanoag, Narragansett, Onondaga, Seneca, and so forth. And these are all these tribes up in the northeastern part of the United States.
Early Jamestown.
And I looked at the date, and the date, if you take a look over there on the right-hand page, on the left margin of that, it says August 29th. And the founding fathers were done on August 21st. So this is just 8 days after this.
That's right.
And you have Commodore Perry Liston was the one that was doing the proxy work.
I can tell you about him.
And then you have who was the other person that's actually doing the work for that?
Well, this is a good time to bring up a name.
Yeah.
That's one of the witnesses, Henry Eyring, President Eyring's second great-grandfather, was one of the witnesses.
So Henry Eyring was one of the Henry Eyring's.
That's him right there in the painting.
Okay, so
that's Henry Eyring right there.
I tell you what, let's do this. Let's go through the names, and then we'll go through this a little bit here and explain to you why we have this incredible painting behind us.
We're having fun, aren't we?
Absolutely. So this is page 196 of the St. George Temple Registry, and you can see the different people there that are listed there. Down towards the bottom of that, if we kind of zoom up a little bit on that. Okay, you can kind of see here, there is a whole list of what they call king, and it's Tahtotah. You would think it would be pronounced Tatota, but it's actually Dadota.
Yeah,
okay,
we got that
King
from an
Dadota.
expert.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see there's 6. These are generations, just like in the Book of Mormon when Nephi,
right.
After Nephi established the land of Nephi.
Patriarchal father.
Every king after him was Nephi the second, Nephi the third, etc.
Absolutely.
Right? So this shows that same kind of a pattern here that's being followed here. I just wanted to bring up a little bit on some of these names here. I want to, let's see here, not here. Okay, and see, this is the next page, and this is the King Dadotas.
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15.
That's right.
So it's 15 generations of these King
That's
Dadotas.
quite a few years.
It is. And you said something about them being around 1100 AD?
A very plausible possibility.
Okay.
It's hard to pinpoint.
Okay.
We'll go by what evidence builds up.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of evidence that happened during an eclipse that I identified in my app, in my astronomy app, on a particular day in 1143. And Sister Gaggett would like that. So
okay. All right. So that you have these are from the Onondaga tribe, from the Oneida tribe. It also talks about the 6 nations. Now, originally it was the 5 nations, and then later on the Tuscaroras came afterwards,
joined in with them,
and they joined in. Okay, so you can take a look here. There was Commodore Perry Liston, listed as relationship with friend. Okay, of all these different people.
Do I know about him?
Same day.
Do I know something about him?
Yeah, that tells them a little bit about
a lot of his offspring were born in Panaca, Nevada, where I grew up.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
And there was a Doug Liston, that had the orchestra that played at all of our dances. Those were relative of his.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Now, but if
So
you
much
take a
for
look
that.
at some of these names, look at some of these names here. I mean, Kahi Dao La,
Good luck with that.
Cornelius. I mean, these are names that these are not common names.
Oh, an insert.
Right.
Sister Gagnon gave me lots of names to do work for that had the name Cornelius.
Mm-hmm.
There was a very common name among those tribes.
Among those people?
Cornelius. You wouldn't think that's an Indian name, but a very common name among their.
Well, this is back in I don't know what time frame that is, but it could be more recent.
We don't know.
People, yeah.
She'd have to fill us in on that.
This is the next one. I was just amazed. So what happened was I had gone up to the church history department and gotten the microfiche that you had out originally with the founding fathers. And I'm going through it. I'm looking through it. And I thought, well, maybe there would just be another name or two. And instead, I mean, look at this. We ended up with this page and the next page, and then this page and the next page.
Yeah.
Then this page and the next page.
Right.
Right.
Down to Littlebeard.
Down to John.
Littlebeard right there, Seneca.
Yeah, Littlebeard, Seneca.
That one was the one that I connected with after my phone call. I got quickly put this in.
Yeah.
When I got off the phone with her and realized what she was doing, that they'd been doing the work, I said, I'll go back. And I pulled up Littlebeard. This was an opportunity.
Okay.
I went in. This is very significant for personal reasons and for a lot of other reasons. I could spell Littlebeard.
Yeah.
Couldn't do so well with the other ones.
Yeah.
And I got off the phone with her realizing that they'd started doing the initiatories for these people.
Right. Yep.
And I typed in Littlebeard and pulled this up. And we need to show that. Thank you. Notice 29 August 1877, St. George, confirmation. When she saw it the first time, that was blank on the initiatory. And see the asterisk? 6 April 2015. He finally got the priesthood. And this is sacred. 138 years after they were baptized. They were baptized and confirmed on the very day that Brigham Young died. So they sent everybody home, and the Indians were forgotten till I found that one page. And it took them 138 years. It would have been longer if I hadn't showed up. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, thought about that. 138 years later, after this date, these 85 Indians received the Melchizedek priesthood on a good day, April the 6th, 2015. The unveiling of that painting was 8 years later to the very day. April the 6th, 2023, that's where I got to talk.
Yep.
And you were up on stage, I videotaped it.
Yep.
It's the 8-year anniversary of that day when they could be called, according to section 138.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
Section 138 is the revelation of how it happened to do this, that they could be called as missionaries to all of Lehi's posterity. When I saw that right there, that was my epiphany of all epiphanies. I was so overwhelmed by the Spirit. Look what you did.
That they have the ability now to.
That's why I was saying
priesthood.
I didn't know what I was doing, Rod. But when I saw that, the Spirit confirmed to me, now you know what you were doing. That is so sacred and profound to me.
That's awesome.
It's one of the most significant events in anybody's life.
Yep.
To be a part of the taking care of the posterity of Lehi.
It's part of the gathering of the house of Israel.
And notice I'm speaking
quietly
quietly and reverently. Thank you for letting me share that very much.
Absolutely. In fact, I was going to show this next image here shows page 200, and you can see the whole page. But if you zoom up here, this is the top part of that.
Oh, that top name. Look at that top name.
That Manti Noah.
That's cool. That's a Cayuga.
Cayuga chief.
That's Dolores's tribe.
Yeah.
Wonder where that came from.
Manti Noah, King Noah, and the land of Manti. Yeah.
Manti Noah. We needed to talk about that one. Yeah. We're a little bit just down the road from that town.
From Manti, Utah. Yeah.
Manti, yeah.
And then this is the one you were talking about right here.
That was super.
See the little beard there it says Seneca?
That's right.
That he was the last one of the Native Americans. And
I know a little bit about it.
When I saw that information, I saw these 85. So let me show you this. This is the final list.
The last one, yeah.
Yeah, this is the final list of the Native American Indian chieftain record.
Oh yeah,
these are not just individual Native Americans. These are all chiefs.
Right.
Which means,
and the one I did was an honorary Dutchman, Oneida chief. Abraham Scott was a Dutchman.
Oh,
but I have the records to show you in his website on Family Search.
Yeah,
how they honored him to be as though he were a full-blood Iroquois Indian.
Yeah,
but he was a Dutchman.
Huh. That is interesting.
Interesting.
Now, so I want to point out a couple of quick things. Number one is this.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much.
Is this? Sure. See, you have the King Tedotas and so forth there, right?
Yeah.
But right here, I'm gonna blow this up a little bit here so you can see a particular name that has significance to not just me, but to the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah.
This gentleman right here, Canasatego. Okay. Yeah. Now he was in among the first 15 or 20 of these chieftains that were.
I wanted to hear the full story of this one.
And interestingly enough, when I first saw this from the St. George Temple Registry, what I didn't know is about 3 or 4 years prior to when we got together, which was when again?
2014.
And 14.
Yeah,
in 2009, I had come up with this DVD set. It's called the Book of Mormon Evidence 5 DVD set. And we have a special announcement to make. Make sure we don't forget this at the end here, Brill, because this is the Book of Mormon Evidence 5 DVD set. It's talking about prophecies and promises. Joseph Smith knew DNA. Researched 25 Hopewell correlations with the Book of Mormon and Hopewell and the Heartland geography. So that's what the set has. This set is like over 9 hours of the most comprehensive research at the time that had been done up to this point.
Pour down knowledge.
In the disc number 4, which is right in here, it's the correlations between the Nephites and the Hopewell civilization. It was introduced by Keith Merrill, which a lot of people know. He's a filmmaker, right?
I know him.
And then in this, I had found part of a book that's called Gods of War, Gods of Peace. It's a non-LDS book. It's a historical book. Mm-hmm. And in this book, he talks about this great law of peace and so forth. And he talks about how there was a time when the founding fathers were meeting and they had argued down to a stalemate, and they kind of didn't know what to do at this point in time. They were like, "Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do?" And all of a sudden, in walks this Native American in like full regalia. I'm not sure if he was in full regalia or not, but anyway, but he walks in.
I didn't know this part of the story.
And he basically comes up in front of the founding fathers, kind of much to their dismay, and he begins to reprimand them for their lack of knowledge of proper procedures in government. This guy who's supposed to be an ignorant savage is in there teaching the founding fathers. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that we both, in the previous episode that we did together, we talked about Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. Many people don't know that those two men went and they met with the Iroquois Confederacy chieftains, and they taught them for several days. And actually, Benjamin Franklin later wrote about it in several pamphlets that he wrote and so forth.
He connected with the Indians.
That's right. And he basically said that this was the world's only republic representative form of government available to be studied anywhere in the world at that time.
Most
Everybody else was kings and this and that and so forth.
certainly.
But these people had been living together for centuries because of what they called the Great Law of Peace.
Yeah.
And the Great Law of Peace, interestingly enough, so that the 5 tribes basically you have on the western door, you have the Seneca. You have the Mohawks on the eastern door. Those 2 tribes were the warring tribes. They were the protectors of the people.
Most certainly.
And then you have the Oneidas and the Cayugas and the Onondagas.
Right.
The Oneidas were in the center, and the other 2 were the providers.
The real people, the
Haudenosaunee. Yes, exactly. And anyway, so those were the 5 tribes. They call them the 5 civilized tribes, right? Interestingly enough, Benjamin Franklin was so impressed by what he learned from these people. They claimed that we didn't come up with this ourselves. We were taught this by a guy by the name of Daganoweda, who came centuries before in the eastern wilderness, right? And he taught them the Great Law of Peace. Part of the Great Law of Peace was that they were to bring. He had two things. He took an arrow in his hand, and he took the arrow and went and broke it right in front of all these other chiefs. And then he said, "See how easy it is to break one arrow. But if you take 5 arrows, and you take those 5 arrows and you put them all together, and now you're trying to break it, and you can't break it." He gave each one of them an opportunity to try to break the 5 arrows, and no one could. He said, basically, he taught them, if we stick together, if we stand together as one people, we can overcome anything. Nobody can break us if we do that. And then he told them all to go back to their places, to have them come back and bring their weapons of war with them. And when they did, they dug a great big hole in the ground. They took their weapons, they placed them in the hole, and then they covered them up with dirt. They literally buried their weapons.
I know the number that represented each of the 5 that made up those 50.
Yeah. Okay.
To bury them.
And so bottom line is that so they literally, the flag today, if you go to the Seneca Nation and you look at the flag up on the flagpole of the Seneca Nation, it has the great white pine as the centerpiece of the flag, and underneath that are 2 axes, 2 hatchets that are underneath the great white pine, which is representing the Great Law of Peace. They literally buried the hatchet. If any of you ever heard of the term "bury the hatchet," this is where it comes from.
It's along the side of a river.
Yeah.
The white pine tree is pulled up.
And anyway, and so the bottom line is that here we have this Daganoweda, who taught them the Great Law of Peace, which ultimately ended up with 5 nations that were warring and killing each other for centuries.
To make peace.
Now for centuries had not been killing each other. They were actually living
Buried
in
their
peace.
weapons.
And they were teaching the founding fathers how to do it.
Yeah.
Deja vu. Sounds similar to a Book of Mormon story.
And the guy that walked into that fateful day there in with the founding fathers, that walked in with his full regalia and so forth, his name was Kenasatego. I actually had that in my DVD back in 2009.
He was an Onondaga.
Yes.
He was the spokesman on June 11th.
Yes.
That's the man that's a spokesman for
the tribes. Yeah. Now, just a couple other quick things. I think you have. I think you have in yours.
I got it
in your presentation. You have the seal and so forth, right?
There we go. We're getting to some good stuff.
We're gonna get into that in just a couple of seconds. But this Kenasatego, I learned, was a quite an individual.
I didn't know this before. Who that spoke was on
Dolores helped me find some information about him, because it seemed like there wasn't very much. But now, if you go onto on the internet and just put in Kenasatego, he was quite an individual. His wife died, and he basically died of a broken heart just a few years after that. But he was a statesman. He was very well educated.
We'll have to show that
picture. Anyway, I'd love to tell you more about it, but we don't have time to go into all the details on him. But you can check it out.
I have not known that link of that significant event on June 11th, the day that Thomas Jefferson that evening began to write the Declaration of Independence, on the very day that Kenasatego, in that colorized version.
Yeah.
We got to show that in a few minutes.
No, I brought up in the ending of the first episode, I brought up Senator Mike Lee's book called Written Out of History. And in his book here, he has a whole section about this Kennesatego. And it's just fantastic. He talked about Ben Franklin, Kennesatego, join or die in the Confederacy in the wilderness.
Does it give dates?
This is a couple of quotes from Kennesatego. It says, "Our wise forefathers established union and amity between the 5 nations. This has made us formidable. This has given us great weight and authority with our neighboring nations. We are a powerful confederacy, and by your observation, the same methods our wise forefathers have taken, you will acquire much strength and power. Therefore, whatever befalls you, do not fall out with one another." Kennesatego, 1744. Benjamin Franklin wrote, "It would be a very strange thing if 6 nations of ignorant savages should be capable of forming a scheme for such a union and be able to execute it in such a manner as that it had subsisted for ages and appears indissoluble. And yet a like union should be impractical for 10 or a dozen English colonies."
I have a question. You're familiar with that visit of the Iroquois sachems in the halls of Congress? Mm-hmm. And the Onondaga chief was the spokesman. Is that got to be Kennesatego?
I think that was Kennesatego. Yeah.
On June 11th, 1776.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he has in chapter 4 of Mike Lee's book, he has this entire chapter about this. The founding father, influenced by Kennesatego, was, to put it mildly, one who left a lasting impression. No one typified that enterprising and experimental and rebellious spirit that permeated the American colonies better than the ambitious Philadelphia printer named Benjamin Franklin. This is the forgotten story of how the Iroquois developed one of the most unique and essential components of the future American Republic, federalism. As their own law stated, this is from their own law, 5 arrows shall be bound together very strong, and each arrow shall represent one nation. As the 5 arrows are strongly bound, they shall symbolize the complete union of the nations. Thus are the 5 nations united completely and enfolded together, united into one head, one body, and one mind.
We're just getting started, right?
Isn't that just interesting? He goes on and talks about the great law of peace here, and Kennesatego and the Onondaga tribe. The Mohawks and Onondagas had for centuries been rivals and even at times enemies, fighting over hunting grounds. Anyway, I'm looking. So he talks about this whole thing.
I need to confirm whether he was the one that spoke in 1776.
Well, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get that information right here.
Okay,
but we'll definitely check into it.
It's a definite possibility, and that's very meaningful.
He said, according to the people's legend, the great law began with the planting of the tree of the great peace, a vast white pine in the heartland of the Onondaga Nation. And the Confederacy, consisting of the Mohawks, Senecas, Oneidas, Cayugas, and Tuscaroras, and the Onondagas, met and deliberated with great solemnity. Decisions were made only after the tribal leaders had achieved unanimity, just like the brethren. We lost President Nelson last weekend, and the secession of the priesthood and the presidency of the church and the prophet basically has to do it. They have to be 100% united.
Right.
And who that person is going to be. Interestingly enough, here's these Native Americans, and they have the same kind of a thing. They have to be fully unanimous. The Great Law prescribed specific procedural rules. It allowed for vetoes and outlined the rights, responsibilities, and qualifications of each member of the Confederacy. It even contained rules governing elections and impeachment. The whole thing. So,
may I interject?
You're going to inject a whole bunch more in just a second.
No, one else about me. People ask me what a sachem is. You know what I tell them?
A prophet?
They are their version of Russell M. Nelson. That is so appropriate to share at this time to honor our sachem.
Yep. So this is when Kennesatego addresses the conference on July 4th of 1744. He addresses it in downtown Lancaster.
Oh,
this is earlier. This is
the Lancaster Treaty. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I got to get that book.
Yeah, anyway, it's a fantastic book. I'm not sure where you can get it from, but Senator Mike Lee, he's still our active senator here in the state of Utah.
Yeah.
And he's great. We love him.
His father was in our mission.
He's probably one of the only true constitutionalists that are in the legislature of the United States.
Sad.
He really knows his stuff.
Yeah,
he
that's
was
sad.
a constitutional attorney.
I hope there's a few more than just him.
Yeah. All right. So really quickly. So I just want to share with you. So this image here was the day that I got to go down to. So let me just tell you. So Dolores was at one of our big expos, and she came up to me. She says, "Rod," she says, "I've got this particular name that needs to be done." And she said, and I keep trying to give it to other people, but for some reason, the Lord keeps telling me that you need to do this name.
Oh, my goodness.
And I said, "Well, who is it?" She says, "I won't tell you.
Oh, my.
But if you will come down to St. George, I will be more than happy to actually give it to you." Right. And so I made the date. We went down there. This is us right before I knew who this was. And so this is before, and then she turned to me right after this picture was taken, and she handed me this. So you see the little blue cards there? Okay.
Yep.
And when I looked at it, I was like, I kind of like you, I kind of got weak in the knees and whatever, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
Because I didn't realize that, and she had no idea at this point in time that some 8 years before, I had an entire portion of my DVD set talking about Canasatego.
Oh, yeah.
And of all the founding Native Americans that are on that list,
Evidence.
He's the only one that I ever mentioned before. And she didn't know this.
Now I'm appreciating.
And then she gave me the card, and this is the card that she gave me.
Oh, Rod. I'm overwhelmed.
And you can see the baptism was done August 29th,
now I know
1877.
I've been all this time.
I've been holding this from you, brother, because I wanted to spring this on you, but
that is so
I had the chance to look at the initiatory. You notice the same date? The same date as yours.
April the 6th.
But you did April the 6th of 2015.
That was
the initiatory was done.
You did that? You did the initiatory and the endowment?
No, excuse me. No, I did not do the initiatory. Somebody else did the initiatory.
Okay, that's okay.
I did his endowment on the 24th of April of 2015.
That's it.
And I can tell you that what an incredible experience that was to go through the temple for this great man of God who helped the founding fathers to get over this consternation that they had done. And then he instructed them for almost an entire day on proper procedures in government. And then he left, and they couldn't find him again.
Do we know how long he lived?
Yeah.
After
there's
1744.
Quite a bit of information about him, yeah.
Because he's got to live another 30 years to be at that Continental Congress.
Yeah. Well, he was a fairly young individual, I think, at the time when this was going on, yeah. Well, let's see, does it have his birth date? Birth is in 1684. So it's the birth 1684. So to 1776, he would have been pretty old at this point in time.
He could have been.
So maybe it wasn't him that was at that.
We don't know for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to point that out. And now last time we talked about how we met at Liberty Village.
There we go. We're on the way.
And the reason why we had this Native American portion of that is because we wanted to be able to share with people how the Native Americans in Canasatego and the Great Law of Peace and so forth, and all this has to do with the founding of our country and specifically the Constitution. Well, yeah. A lot of people don't know this, and I think you have a picture of this somewhere that we'll show you here in a minute. But the Great Seal of the United States of America, I had it on a hat.
Yeah,
okay?
we'll get to it.
And in it has the eagle with a shield shielding its body, yeah. And in its left talons it has the 5 arrows, right, representing the 5 nations of the Iroquois Confederacy.
Charles Thompson deliberately, he was an honorary Delaware chief. He was the secretary of the Continental Congress.
Yeah, you're going to talk about that more, I think, aren't you?
No, well, we're doing it right now.
Okay.
He was delegated to make the seal of America. He was delegated to be responsible for that.
Yeah.
And I will show you a little later the original where you had the 5, and we're going to tell the story where it came from.
Yeah.
That's part of the whole story.
And also in the right hand, the right talons of the eagle, he's holding an olive branch, which represents the great law of peace.
That's right.
Again, both of these things are directly from the Native Americans, who, by the way, just happened to be some of the tribes that Joseph Smith sent the very first missionaries with the first copy of the Book of Mormon to.
Stay with us. We got more on the
way. Okay. All right. So this Liberty Village, we want to have a shout out here to Liberty Village for their being willing to donate about 3.5 acres of Liberty Village to the Native American site. And we want to thank, there's
Brother
too many
Levitt,
people that Dennis Levitt and others who have allowed us to be able to do that. And also Mike and Betty LaFontaine, who have been instrumental in getting the teepees and having people came. Yeah. It was a fantastic thing. It's going to be wonderful to be able to show the Native American influence.
Cherokee, the Iroquois.
Influence.
A lot of it.
Yeah. All right. So let's go. So we want to go back to your screen here for a second. So you've been involved with digitizing lots of things.
Family history related books.
Right. And just a minute ago, I talked about Daganoweda. I want to make sure that we make sure you're clear. You heard that, Brill?
I heard that name. I heard
Daganoweda. Okay.
Very distinctly.
Remember that name, okay? Because that's going to come up here in the next couple of minutes. After the bomb he dropped on me when we were down at Liberty Village.
Well,
this is awesome.
Meaning.
Yeah.
I'm speechless with your kind of story, bro.
Okay, well, we'll find your speech and tell us how you found this bombshell information.
I've been a part-time service missionary since about 2011, about the time my dear brother passed away.
Uh-huh. That's not very part-time. That sounds like full-time.
I started, no. Cool.
It's full-time now.
I'm part-time. My brother was. Anyway, I love my dear brother. When I started, there were about 140,000 publications in the Family Search Digital Library, and you can pull that up.
Okay, so how do you get there?
You
go to familysearch.org.
Yeah.
You go to library.
Okay.
Then go to books.
Okay, but let me back up. There's 2 ways to do it. Okay. The most convenient way is if people are familiar with Family Search. Okay. You sign in and go to the to the search engine in Family Search.
Okay.
And the down menu has books.
Okay.
You click on books, and this is what you get. The search engine, and I need to give you, this is my opportunity to honor all of my directors for the 14 years I've been dealing with.
If you've had hundreds of them, we don't have time to talk about all of them.
No, we're good.
But you can mention a few people. Go ahead.
Okay, 140,000 publications when I started.
Yeah.
Now there's over 700,000.
Wow.
And that's part of introducing documents into Family Search. One of several. If you go into the search, and so the index item on Family Search, it has a rolling number thermometer of the number of documents that are being entered into Family Search.
Okay.
And I put my stopwatch on it as carefully as I could.
Uh-huh.
And at the time I did it, about 2 or 3 years ago, it came out in 3 days and a couple hours. There are 1 million new documents being entered into Family Search every 3+ days.
Wow.
And it's continuing that way. He's speeding up his work. Yeah. And I've had the great honor of digitizing family history books from archives from the original Historical Society of Pennsylvania that was set up by John Quincy Adams. early documents.
That's so cool.
And they're just, when we look at them, they're TN numbers of files, and we do the processing of it and do the quality control to get them into the digital library.
Okay.
And this is the OCR search engine that we make sure that it works.
Okay.
And I need to share this with you. Now there's 700,000 publications. That's 3 to 4 billion pages of text and documents and pictures and things that are in that archive. A rich, rich library.
No doubt.
And my job is to make sure that optical character recognition works. And so I give my example of typing in Joseph Ridges, who's responsible for the Tabernacle Choir. Relatives live in Panaca, where I grew up. Okay. David Ridges, the great patriarch and author.
Yeah. He's written a lot of the books for the LDS.
He's from Panaca.
People. Yeah.
I got my plug in. Okay.
Ridges. That's cool.
Now, I put Joseph Ridges, and it finds that name out of the 3.5 billion pages and gives the hits of the number of times with less than 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And the only way I can explain that is the gift that God gave us when we were born. The light of Christ is the conduit that makes that work that fast. That's what we were born with. The gift of the
light
of Christ.
Is definitely,
talk about powerful. This is evidence of it in our modern computer age. That because of the speed and the purity of the light of Christ, it will bring up an entry that you search for there. Out of 3.5 billion searches in less than 2 seconds.
For those of us who grew up without computers, that's a big deal.
How do you?
For those like Brill that grew up with computers,
I was actually.
How do you deal with that?
I'm at the transition, so I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
And so I didn't grow up with a computer, and then I transitioned into
at a young age.
At a young age. Yeah. I was like 10.
Yeah. I was like 23 or 4 when
that's what
I
you call
my first laptop, which was one of the very first laptops ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an understatement to say that's staggering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it's a reality.
Okay, well, let's get back to what we're doing
now. That's how I introduced it to you. I needed to say that.
Okay.
I've been digitizing books all this time, and they're just TN files under the book. And I have many, many opportunities where I've known after I touched the book that somebody knew it was significant to me, that had been taught me the omnipotence of our Father in heaven. Gangbusters.
Awesome.
And now, this is the story. About 4 years ago.
Okay.
And this is what I shared with you.
Yeah.
There, down here, and your friend, your partner was taking notes, and you recorded it.
Yeah.
It was a story in a book. It was not a very large book. It was written by Mohawk people. And it lists the names. Okay, let me go to the next one. See, you type in Mohawk stories.
Okay, so all of you watching this, you can actually just go to Family Search.
Digital Library. Family Search, sign in, go to the
Mohawk
search
stories.
Books, and this is the search engine.
Yeah.
And it says there over 500,000. That's out of date. Yeah. It's like 700,000 right now.
Yeah.
They need to update that. And but you don't have to use quotes anymore. The optical character recognition reads what you put in there without the quotes.
Yeah. Okay.
And you type in, this is something I had that came across my desk.
Okay. So they wanted you to digitize this something here.
Let me give you the picture of this, the odds of me doing it. There are 47 missionaries staggered through the week. And there are 200, anywhere from 50 to 200 or 300 files that we poke on and bring up.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of touching the number, not knowing Mohawk stories. That doesn't mean anything. Well, Mohawk's good. I like that.
Yeah.
And then I started looking into it, and the Spirit took over. And I hope the Spirit is present with the people that are watching this. Yeah. Okay. That should be a little bit into what we're doing here. Because this is within the framework of the digital library that brings the master page of that book that tells how many pages are there, and that's golden. It's open to the public. You can pull it up. Anybody can pull that up.
Any of you
it's not
can pull this book
Anybody can pull that up. Yeah. It's not copyright protected. As a church, we have to be very vigilant of that. And so that's an open window to anybody. Mm-hmm. Okay? And it tells that Josephine Horn was the main contributor. Now, there's the title page that has Josephine Horn's name on it, and that's the Kanyen Kecha Okara Shon A. That's how you say Mohawk stories. You just learned some Mohawk.
Anishinaabe language.
In the Mohawk language.
Yeah.
That's the literal translation, duplicate. Okay. And the convenience of that, it's what they call a diaglot, 2 languages. Mm-hmm. It has the Mohawk and then the English. Mm-hmm. And we're going to find a very sacred story that you've partially introduced.
Yeah, this was mind-blowing. Okay, let's jump into it.
This is, you turn to page 89, and you see up at the, you need to show this, okay? Up at the top is a pencil sketch of clouds and a man in Indian attire.
Yep.
And it has his name. Do you want to try to say it?
You say it first.
Okay. Taharon Hiawakon. I say it as reverently.
Okay, everybody try it out there. Say it one more time.
Taharon, it's a little bit extra emphasis on the H. It's not a diphthong. I was saying tha.
Yeah.
And Sister Gagarin got me corrected because she has a copy of this. Okay. She knows all about this.
Okay.
This is new to us.
Yes. This is totally new to me.
Taharon Hiawakon. I hope I did it right because I'm pretty close.
Taharon Tiawakon.
Hiawakon.
Okay.
Try it again.
Hiawakon.
Taharon Hiawakon.
Okay.
It doesn't get it close.
Okay.
And what does that represent? Means the holder of the heavens.
So this is at the bottom of the page. So the top part is in the native language.
Well, it has
Anishinaabe.
The top line right there is
the native language.
The top line is Mohawk, and then you can read the English. See?
Yeah.
Line by line.
And then down at the bottom.
But conveniently, it has it all in one place.
Yes.
So you can read it.
All right. So Taharon Hiawakon means holder of the heavens. He was the great god of the Indians who presided over them in their hunting grounds.
They're giving you a hint. Keep following.
The god of the Indians presided over them. He came down from heaven in a white cloud to help the Indian.
Deja vu. Does that make any sense to anybody here?
Yeah.
Who would it be, Brill?
Oh, okay. So I need a little. I have a question on that one.
There you go.
So what's the source of this document?
It's this book that was published by Mohawks. That was the front cover.
This is from the Mohawks.
This is
them telling their stories.
I needed to show the cover
is wild.
of the story. Yes. That's an interesting way to say it.
Okay, but now, I'm going to just cut in for just a
That'd
second
be good.
here.
Okay.
Because this is from the Book of Mormon.
Now, repeat the he came.
Yeah. He came down from heaven in a white cloud to help the Indian.
That should make sense to us.
And let's see. It came to pass, this is 3 Nephi chapter 10. And it came to pass in the ending of the 3rd and 4th year, behold, I, Mormon, will show unto you that the people of Nephi who were spared, and also those who were called Lamanites who had been spared, did have great favor shown unto them and great blessings poured out upon their heads, insomuch that soon after the ascension of Christ into heaven, he did truly manifest himself unto them And this is what he says. So he says, this is chapter 11. And it came to pass there was great multitude gathered together of the people of Nephi round about the temple, which is in the land of Bountiful, and they were marveling and wondering one with another, and were showing one to another the great marvelous change which had taken place. They were also conversing about this Jesus Christ, of whom the sign had been given concerning his death. And it came to pass that while they were thus conversing one with another, they heard a voice, and it came out of heaven, and they cast their eyes round about, for they understood not the voice which was heard, and it was not a harsh voice, neither was it a loud voice. Nevertheless, and notwithstanding it being a small voice, it did pierce them that did hear it to the center, insomuch that there was no part of their frame that did not cause to quake. Yea, it did pierce them to their very soul, and did cause their hearts to burn. And it came to pass that again they heard the voice, and they understood it not. And again the third time they heard the voice, did open their ears to hear it, and their eyes were towards the sound thereof, and they did look steadfastly toward heaven, from whence the sound came. And behold, the third time they did understand the voice which they had heard, and it said unto them, Behold, my beloved Son, in whom I have well pleased, in whom I have glorified my name, hear ye him. And it came to pass, as they understood, they cast their eyes up again towards heaven, and behold, they saw a man descending out of heaven, and he was clothed in a white robe. And it came down and stood he came down and stood in the midst of them, and the eyes of the whole multitude were turned upon him, and they durst not open their mouths even one to another, and wist not what it meant, for they thought it was an angel that appeared unto them.
May I interject now? Okay, you've got...
He came down from heaven in a white cloud to help the Indian.
That's right.
According to the Mohawks.
Yeah. Now, this, if you go back to the picture of the title page, this is how they did it. A grandparent called the grandchildren around them and passed on the legacy. They didn't know anything about the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
This is their spontaneous legacy, not within any agenda to prove anything. This is their legitimate, pure history passed on from generation to generation for many, 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 many years.
Yeah.
This book is published in Albany, New York. That's where the rest of the stories...
Some of the restoration stuff.
There's evidence that near Albany is where the council fires were held.
Okay.
Near Albany, New York.
Okay.
And that's where Abraham Schuyler was born. That's where...
That you did his work.
It's the center of the Onondaga Nation. In Conestoga.
Yeah.
That's where they grew up, around Albany, New York.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, and then at the bottom there, very last sentence, he says, and showed, let me make that bigger.
You'll make it bigger? See it? There we go, we're good.
He showed and gave the Indian the skills to hunt, nourish, and clothe himself. The Indians were sustained by the bounty of the earth, river, and forest. There's his name again. Tiharon Hayawakon.
You got it.
Showed them the herbs and roots that would heal their sickness and wounds. Interesting.
That's
also talked.
That's an Indian tradition of the Great Spirit.
I gotta show you this.
There we go.
One more thing here. So
we're going to see connection.
The building materials.
Brill, we're connecting the dots.
Yeah, we are.
I don't know if I can find it actually very quickly, but basically it talks about the seasons of the year.
Oh my, yeah.
Which was the nature of the climate because of the many herbs and things that God had showed them.
That's appropriate. Yeah, that's appropriate.
Okay,
they include that. Brother.
He gave them the corn, wild rice, onions, and squash.
We knew about the corn. I'm not sure we knew about the wild rice and onions and squash.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And he gave strength and integrity. Taharon Hayawakon declared his will to them in dreams. Kind of like Lehi.
Kind of like
had
Lehi.
A dream, right?
Okay.
And other people had dreams.
I want you to spontaneously respond like you just did, of the impressions that you're getting while you read that.
Well, I think people, as we read
everybody can see
you think to yourself, how does this sound a little bit like the Book of Mormon story? A little familiar?
Well,
yeah.
It becomes obvious.
Yeah.
It becomes obvious.
It says, in like manner, he disclosed future events. He told them what was going to happen in the future. It was he who guided the Indians in their early wanderings. He guided them in their wanderings.
Who's that?
Do I have to go to the Book of Mormon and talk about how they were inspired to go down the spice trail and build a ship, and had the Liahona and everything to be able to guide them in their early wanderings?
I hope people are watching this or paying attention. This is an awesome. Independent legacy of an Indian tribe that knew nothing about the Book of Mormon.
That's right. He visited them from time to time in person to protect them from their enemies and to instruct them in useful arts. He instilled in them good judgment. He appeared in one of their battles when it looked like they were going to be defeated. How many times?
Pick one.
Then the Book of Mormon is out there.
Yeah.
Taharan Hiawatha assured them that all would be well, and the battle turned, and they were victorious. Over and over again. In fact, I could bring up scriptures in the Book of Mormon that talk about how their 50 guys could could put 100 of the Lamanites to flight, and how many times were they overwhelmed with the number of Lamanites, and they still ended up winning the battles.
Well, pretend you're me, reading this story for the first time.
You're like, what?
Good heavens!
Oh, okay, we got to keep going though. All right. Next page. By the way, and you can see that this is the native tongue, and then the English version.
A literal, experienced Mohawk gave the interpretation of it.
Now, Taharan Hiawatha, Taharon, why do you say it?
Okay, Taharon Hiawatha.
There you go, Tahara Hiawatha.
It's very poetic. Taharon, pretend you're a poet.
This one, when you brought this up to me and you showed me this, I about fell out of my chair again a second time. Yeah. Because look at this.
Well, you ought to have done.
I've thought
you were into it. You knew
that the Great Law of Peace was brought by Daganawida, which is mentioned in several of these other books about the Great Law of Peace.
He was a prophet. He wasn't a savior. He was.
I was thinking that they were talking about the Savior coming down.
But then we got that straightened out in a hurry.
And then we got it straightened out. This is amazing. Okay, so he inspired Tikanawida. That sure sounds a lot like Daganawida.
Well,
the only difference is the T and the D sound, which we already know from King Dododa.
Well,
the T makes a D sound.
Because of when people pronounced that was Daganawida.
That's right.
And they spelled it the way they would phonetic. Spell it.
Yeah.
Dododa. There's all T's.
Yeah.
That's the proper spelling, but the pronunciation, that actually confirms the authenticity of the Mohawk.
Yes. Look at this.
That's a very significant thing.
That's how they spelled it in the native tongue, is Tikanawida.
And they knew how to pronounce it, and so they transliterated it to the sound instead of the actual letter.
Yeah.
And that is firm evidence. It is authentic awesome. Mohawk.
Yeah. Now it also says that this Daganawida was the founder of the League of Peace. This is the Great Law of Peace.
Yeah.
Hiawatha was his spokesperson.
Right.
So this is a later prophet that not mentioned in the Book of Mormon.
No, they were contemporary. Hiawatha and Daganawida are contemporary.
Yeah, those two. Right. Yeah. Okay, but what I'm saying is that this was not in Book of Mormon timeframes. This is in more like Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson's
beginnings of the Confederacy in the 1100s.
Yeah. He was a chief of high rank among the Onondagas.
The right was pronounced as an Onondaga.
Yeah. Okay.
Onondaga.
Yeah, that's right. It's Onondaga. Yeah. For years, Tikanawida meditated, and with inspiration from Taharan Hiawatha, had elaborated in his mind the plan of a vast confederation which would...
Well, stop there. That sentence is pure doctrine to declare the source of the Iroquois Confederacy. The Iroquois Confederacy was inspired by Taharon Hiawatha, namely Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
In Mohawk legacy.
That is so awesome. All right, so let me see. He said, to ensure universal peace, the system,
This gets good.
the system which he devised was not to be for a short time, but a lasting one.
It was supposed to last. Yeah, go ahead.
He said that this confederacy would last from generation into generation as long as the sun shines, the grass grows, and the waters run.
That is sacred covenant language for an Iroquois. Yeah. And that was expressed by Conestoga. If he's the one that was on there on June 11th, 1776, we want to be your brethren as long as the sun shines and the waters run. He was offering a covenant to the founders that they would join them. And they were using Iroquois covenant language because the spokesman, the Onondaga spokesman that said, I want to give your name, I want to give you an honorary Carandawan, which means great tree.
Okay.
The great tree. That's the name they gave John Hancock.
What? The great...
In 1776, when they met in the Continental Congress, the Onondaga spokesman said, may we give your leader a special honorary name. They said we would be honored. They said his name is Caranduahn, Caranduahn, which means great tree. It's the sacred symbol of the whole Iroquois nation. They were transplanting onto the shoulders of John Hancock.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, so let's finish up here. So Tekakwitha sent Hiawatha to the wicked chief.
This is the Atatoro. That's the Dodota.
Atatoro of the Onondagas.
Otherwise, Adadoro, Dodota. See that? That's a derivation, alliteration of the Dodota.
Okay.
Those 15 Dodotas, that's one of them.
One of them had become wicked
one of them.
At that point. Okay.
That's right.
To show him that this plan for peace would change his whole life for the better. When the Onondagas saw this change in their chief, they all wanted to follow the new plan.
This is the beginnings.
But to me, that just smacks of Lamoni.
What?
Lamoni, when they went and they talked to they didn't have any the sons of Mosiah and so forth, they didn't have any effect when they went out and tried to teach the Lamanites about Christ.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Ammon basically did his great art, his disarmament,
right,
if you will,
right.
when he disarmed all those guys and were brought into the king Lamoni. Yeah. When they converted the king and he became righteous, then the king, converted all the rest of the people.
That's symbolic.
Yeah,
if not,
symbolic.
Probably not literal.
Time frame.
Probably not literal, but significant in regards to the son. When they buried their weapons in the Book of Mormon.
Yeah, both the same time frame.
They learned that.
See, these things were mostly passed down orally.
Yeah.
So over the course of time, over centuries, they could lose small parts and pieces and whatever of that. But it's interesting that this same story is in the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Right?
With one difference.
Or a similar story.
Yeah. There's a connection there. We're connecting the dots again. The Book of Mormon story is they buried their weapons to never fight again. This was different, that they were never going to fight among themselves.
Yeah.
But if enemies came, they could join them.
Themselves.
And that's why they were able to join the colonists on the Oneida. They were not going against covenant because their covenant wasn't the same as the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Comprehensive covenant to never fight again. It was a lower, from the tradition of that. Yeah. They applied that, but on a more limited scale.
But could I
go ahead?
Actually, though, if you consider the anti-Nephi Lehi's, which they became known as later on,
yeah,
they
almost identical.
The covenant was that they would not pick up their weapons of war to fight against their brethren.
Their brethren, that's right.
The Lamanites.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a similar story.
So it's a very similar thing.
Yeah.
All right, so Hiawatha then went to each of the other 4 tribes to tell them of this new way of living together in peace. Finally, the Mohawks, the Senecas, Onondagas, the Oneidas, and the Cayugas all said that they would become part of the peace plan. 50 chiefs gathered.
Now, this is the story.
Okay, so 50
there's more to this
gathered.
story. The 50 got together and buried their weapons.
Yes.
But this is a special part of what was significant to them.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So there's 50 chiefs gathered around the council fire.
Close to Albany, New York.
Takanawita said, quote, "We shall now combine our power into one great power, which is the Confederacy. We shall therefore symbolize the union of these powers by each nation contributing 1 arrow each to be tied up together in a bundle with deer sinews which are strong. When they are tied together, no one can bend or break them, and the Confederacy shall endure." 5 arrows were then bound together to show that the 5 Iroquois tribes were now joined in a peaceful League of 5 Nations. The League of 5 Nations was believed to be formed in the year 1450.
That's their idea.
Yeah, yep.
And that's okay, because there's significant evidence that could be, I lean towards 1100 or.
Yep. Whoops. It says later when the, that's the end of that, right?
Oh, keep going until we get to this. When the
Tuscaroras came into the league, before we go back on that, let's just show.
You want to show that?
We talked about it, but I just wanted to show you that.
Again, remember that Charles Thompson, the secretary to the Continental Congress, was responsible to officiate to get the proper seal.
Yeah. Now this one, the eagle has a whole bunch of arrows in his hand.
That's 13.
That's 13. And then later on, it was changed to the 5.
No, backwards. This is the original with 5. This is what Charles Thompson had originally done.
Okay.
And he said, well, we got 13 arrows to talk about. We have 13 colonies. We'll do the symbolism, but use that as a foundation. Yeah. Instead of 5, we'll use 13.
Okay.
And the 13 arrows is derived from the story that we're reading here about the 5 arrows.
Okay.
That's where he got the inspiration to do it.
Yeah. So do you want to read that part?
Early rendition of the United States seal by Charles Thompson. He was responsible. He was the one that was authorized to do this. Mm-hmm. It's showing the 5 arrows, later changed to 13 to represent 13 states. The 5 arrows originally represented the Iroquois Confederacy that we're just reading about. Yeah. Now, pause. Who then is responsible for the Iroquois Confederacy? What's the source? Taganawita? Hiawatha? Takaronhiawaka.
Yeah. Yeah. The other one was the prophet. The one that actually taught them was Taharan.
Jehovah.
Yeah.
Or Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's go
then
on.
To finish up here.
Joined the Tuscaroras.
So joined the Tuscaroras, came into the league. It became the League of 6 Nations. Once each year, the 50 chiefs met around a great council fire. The chiefs who came to this meeting were supposed to have hearts full of peace and goodwill, patience, love, and honor, and to cultivate friendship. They were to think of what would be good for all the Iroquois, not for just the people of their own tribe. They learned to understand one another, and they were no longer afraid of each other.
So profound.
That's so awesome.
No,
this is
the Paul Harvey part of the story.
Yeah. This is how the League of 6 Nations began. Today, the Iroquois are remembered because of the League of 6 Nations. Taharan Hiawakon was last seen at Caughnawaga near Montreal. He left the same way he had come, in a white cloud.
How did he go away? He went back up into heaven. Does that make sense or not?
Yeah.
Can I point out something? Rod, can you remind me where did he leave again? Geography-wise?
Up around
Montreal,
the Great Lakes.
Canada.
Up around the Great Lakes.
Where is that located exactly?
Close to the Great Lakes.
Northeastern part of the United States and Canada. Southeastern Canada.
Are you?
Oh, you're Canadian?
No.
No.
Are you following where I'm going with this?
Well,
in that necessary region in North America?
Very close. Very, very significant, Brill. Yeah. Because it didn't need to be literal. It said near Montreal. And Who knows? He may have left Ohio and gone up a little ways.
Earlier on, it said that he made several different personal appearances to the people.
Right.
The Book of Mormon only records one of them.
Right.
And Brother Lefgren,
and that's kind
we
of,
know the traditional research, the deep dive that Brother Lefgren went into it regarding the Newark temple complex.
Yes.
Will that be, talk about that in another time.
You bet.
Well, I just find that that's interesting because, I mean,
Oh, certainly.
literally everything that this work does is to bring the truthfulness of the gospel from all areas, right? And so, I mean, as a convert, for me, just looking at all these dots that are getting filled in by these stories from the Mohawks, by, the stories of the Book of Mormon and the stories of our forefathers, and looking at how this is the promised land and how this has always been kind of held in that regard. And it's also interesting, recently, I need to go find more info on this, but their non-member scientists are starting to find some correlation between that, maybe Christ did visit other areas. There's this conversation that's happening. There's this buzz that's happening around that at the moment.
This is a very positive link, every sentence.
Right.
And I hope you recognize, I hope the Spirit, would you share your feelings about that?
Well, we started this organization and called it Book of Mormon Evidence for a reason.
Yeah.
The evidence being not that people need to have evidence to believe, but people who it's like President Holland said when he came down to BYU and gave a talk about the greatness of the evidence. Mm-hmm. You can look it up. It is a phenomenal. It's only about 25 minutes or so long. If you haven't had a chance to actually listen to or read that,
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And he talks about the importance of evidence. He says if we have evidence and we're not using it, then shame on us. And this is a completely independent from the people that we have figured out, basically from the DNA studies and everything else, and from where Joseph Smith sent the first missionaries, and all of that. And you notice of the 85 tribal leaders that were baptized in the St. George Temple, every one of them are from that area.
Right.
There was nobody out here from the West.
Right.
There was nobody from Central America in there.
Yeah, the DNA
it was,
in 1997, the X chromosome that you've talked about a lot, ties back to a people called the Galileans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's so much there to deal with. But just very quickly, I want to give a shout out to our friend Michael Bedard.
Oh,
Michael Bedard, I actually have, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but
we could talk about who these people represented.
So over here on the far side, if you can see that from here, there's Wilford Woodruff and his recorder. Okay, they're over here watching.
Okay, you got that from Brother Bedard?
Actually, I have a sheet about this that he tells.
Well, we know who that is. That's Henry Eyring.
Oh, that's
the recorder.
Okay, there's the recorder. Okay, I'm not sure who this other guy is.
These are the witnesses.
Okay. And then you have...
Do you want me to pull up and tell you who they are? I'll tell you who they are.
I have the thing over here. We can actually do that.
Well,
it's awesome.
Give me 1 second. I'll tell you who the witnesses are.
Grab this real quick here. It's right here. He actually comes up with this.
That's actually Joseph Harmon and Lorenzo Brown. Those are the witnesses.
Okay. So in this, Michael Bedard puts out this thing here called Hope of the World #2.
I said it wrong, Rod. I read it this wrong. I'm now in the right place.
Okay.
I could read the names off of those people. Okay. Can you do that with that?
Yeah, right here. Like this guy in the corner right here.
Yeah.
That's Canasatego.
Which guy?
Oh, yeah, there you go. There we go.
That's Canasatego. Next to him is Kanahayiga. That's this guy here. This is Joseph Brandt.
There you go.
We
could talk about him for a little
Canonicus.
Right, I'm related to him. You are too.
Yeah. And then you have Decanosora is this guy here.
That's that first name. It was the first name on the list.
Okay, yeah. And King Tadota 1 is this guy.
Yeah, that's
here.
a festival. That's a very special one.
And then this is Osahinta.
I'm related to him.
This is Dehakatans.
Okay.
Him. So this is the painting here. You can get copies of this painting by Michael Bedard at Michael Bedard Fine Arts. Anyway, it is just phenomenal. You got the Great Law of Peace. There's others in the background. You have the eagle coming in over here. You got the ocean in the background because they said they came from the east.
Right.
They came in turtle boats. And so anyway, it's just a beautiful,
which is a very
painting.
significant name for the boats.
Yes. Well, we appreciate your enthusiasm and your willingness to come and share this information.
Well, we did it spontaneously. I hope I did it reverently enough.
Yeah.
That the Lord is pleased with us, what we did.
I really hope that all of you out there can see, that just the evidence just keeps mounting and getting better and stronger. Our Native American brothers need us to be able to help get them their history back into their hands. But they know their history. They're talking about it back here in these old books.
This is important, Rod. I have in here, and I don't have time to read it, but I have statements from the early leaders of the church of the role of the Lamanites in the building of the temple in the New Jerusalem.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
And the prophecies basically say that that when they come to the knowledge of their forefathers and they realize who they are, that they are the chosen people of God, that they are the children of Israel, that they are part of the great covenant that God made with Abraham and his posterity throughout all time, that then they will come back to the knowledge of the gospel. They will return back to the covenants and so forth of that, and they will be a part of the restored gospel of Jesus Christ. I hope that we live to see that day in the next very short period of time, because I don't know how much more time we have before. What's his name again?
Tahadon comes again.
Before he comes again, yes.
Most certainly. This has been a very, very special day, Rod.
Wow.
And not to add to what you said there, sir, but Joseph Fielding Smith, our church historian, said that we need to make sure we don't get it wrong in regards to the relationship between the Lamanites and the tribe of Ephraim. He said that the Ephraimites will oversee the building of the temple, but the Lamanites themselves will participate in a very honorable part of the building of the temple in New Jerusalem.
Yeah. Well, if the great circle and the great octagon complex in Newark, Ohio, is what we think that it is,
there's a good chance it is.
Their temple that they had in Bountiful in the Book of Mormon is still there. It's still the largest temple complex in the world, and nobody even knows that it's there.
Yeah, we do.
Except for just a handful of people.
Yeah.
I would say probably less than 5%, but maybe 10% of the members of the church now know about it.
And the reason why they were gathered, Brother Lefgren is a marvelous deep dive researcher, and I happen to agree with him.
Yeah. Yep.
Of the significance of that.
All right, Brill, your thoughts?
I thought this was extremely fascinating. If there's one thing that in all of this that really blew me away is seeing the correlation between what the Mohawks are saying that they witnessed that's recorded in their history independently. Like this isn't like a broad the Native American, it's like the Mohawks specifically. And where are they located? In that particular part of the country in North America.
New York, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And how is that related to what we talk about? A ton.
And where's the Hill Cumorah? Oh, we got to give a shout out to Elder Bednar.
The Mohawks were the keepers of the Eastern Door.
Yeah. And the Oneida were the keeper of the records.
Right.
And it's interesting because the Senecas are on the western part of New York and the Mohawks are on the eastern part of New York. The Oneidas were in the center, which is pretty darn amazingly close to where the Hill Cumorah is actually located. And they were the keeper of the records.
And what is that coincidence? I don't know.
I would quick shout out to Elder Bednar. We wanted to thank you so much, Elder Bednar, for rededicating the Hill Cumorah. And the beautiful words that you said by inspiration were equal to the giving a conference talk, which we're going to have coming up this weekend. We are a general conference coming up, and basically reiterating the fact that the Hill Cumorah is the place where the plates were deposited. This is where Moroni put the plates. This is where Joseph Smith retrieved the plates. This is a sacred place. Didn't go quite as far as to say that this is the hill of the Book of Mormon, but everything leads to that same conclusion when you actually put it there. And we appreciate the spirit that you brought to that presentation.
And we have done this not for our sake, but for his sake, and for the people that are watching. And I'm impressed as I don't do this very well, but a motto that I ought to follow is to pray earnestly, and then pay attention, act prudently, and for heaven's sake, do your own homework with prayerfulness in your heart.
Amen to
and
that.
You will get a deeper. My understanding of history was the singleness of purpose of learning about God's hand in history, and I have not been disappointed.
Yeah. You had one thing. You gave me a little card, and just to finish up here, this card is from Thomas Jefferson. Now we haven't had a chance to have you dress up, and I wanted to show the people the picture of us. Why don't you find that picture real quick? Just pop out of this one here.
Okay, we need to get out.
And then go there. And this is Thomas Jefferson. He had a coat of arms. You gave me this card here. And what is
this? Is the one?
The coat of arms, what does it say here? It says
that's his, on all of his books, that's his family coat
crest.
of arms.
Yeah.
A quo spiritus, we can tell what that is. He who gave us our spirits, also our liberty at the same time.
So the God who gave us our spirit gave us liberty.
Right.
And then he has on this quote in the back, this is from Cicero.
Thank you.
Cicero. Okay.
I owe you a milkshake for reading this one.
Do you want to read it or want me to read it?
No, you go right ahead.
So it says, not to know what happened before we were born is to remain perpetually a child.
Or childish, not childlike.
Yep. For what is the worth of a human life unless it is woven into the lives of our ancestors?
And lo and behold, when did he live?
106 BC.
To 43?
43 BC.
It spans the Book of Alma on the other side of the world.
Who? Hold on.
Cicero.
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 He's one of Thomas Jefferson's favorite philosophers. Do you know who his favorite philosopher was?
Who?
Jesus the Christ.
Thomas Jefferson. And I love that.
Thank you for that.
Really love the.
Thank you for that opportunity.
So last picture here we've got right here is you want to explain this picture real quick here?
Oh, well, quickly. This was on Flag Day in 2021 in the Sierra Park, and I was cornering Mr. Gary Van Dolzer, dressed up in his $3,000 authentic Valley Forge uniform. It cost him big.
Yeah.
And this is my dear friend Moroni with a mustache.
Moroni with the mustache.
With a Hopewell armor and helmet with an alloy. The research was supposed to be accurate to those gold plates.
The Timbaga.
And when I tried on my uniform from Sister Red, it fit me perfectly. He said, I made this to fit a Thomas Jefferson.
That's right.
And it fit me.
So here you are.
No. What happened just before this picture was taken is I got Gary's attention because he had been in to visit with L. Tom Perry. And he was asking him about Orson Hyde's 4th of July, 1854 talk, where he said that Moroni,
guardian angel,
as the guardian angel of America, appeared to Columbus and helped him on the voyage, and appeared in the camp of George Washington. Mm-hmm. And Brother Gary was there to see what Tom Perry had to say about that. I said, and I took Gary's hands. I took my hand on his shoulders to look at me. I said, don't embellish, Gary. Tell me what you remember, what Brother Perry told you. And the Lord knows I'm doing the best I can with second hand.
Yeah.
He looked at me and he said, well, as I remember it, Brother Perry said, it is strongly believed that Moroni, as the guardian angel of America, would have appeared to George Washington a number of times. And I started to walk away. I said, no, there's more to it. And he also said it is also strongly believed that Moroni, as the guardian angel of America, would have laid his hands on the head of George Washington to confer the authority and the responsibility of being a guardian of America. That's why we call him the Father of America. And that's appropriate, even though this man was responsible for the survey of all of America. And that's another story.
Yeah. All right, everybody, listen, thank you so much. Bob, can I just give you a big old hand hug here?
Oh, most certainly.
Okay. And
we've done good.
Thank you for coming and taking your time to be with us and share this information. Thank you, Brill, for being here. It's been a wonderful afternoon here.
It has been.
In fact, we had a storm coming in, and it was all kinds of stuff. I was like, man, I wonder if it's gonna lightning and thunder and cause problems. And we said a prayer, and it
went away.
It went away.
You know what?
Like, wow.
We had our little moments out there. The timing and all of this.
Yeah.
I can bear testimony that the Father of our spirits is pleased with all three of us this day.
Well, that's
in a very significant way. I'm ready to go to the other side now. No,
you better not. We need your help still on this side. Hold on, he didn't mean that.
We got like 3 more episodes to go, Bob. Hold on.
However, in a sense of goodwill that the humor does bring to us.
Yeah. Thank you.
This is a special, special day for me, and I hope it is for both of you.
Well, I knew it was going to be really pretty amazing when we met, and you started showing me this information. And,
we all wondered ahead of time how it would go.
Yeah.
We had help, and I bear testimony of that.
Yeah.
The Lord wants this story to be told. I know that from my toenails to the top of my head, that this story needed to be told.
Agree. Well, if you've enjoyed this information, as I have, and I think Brill would second that motion.
I agree.
But
that was amazing.
But we want to thank you for coming and bringing your spirit and your knowledge to this.
You're the one that invited me, brother.
Well, but it was the spirit that said that.
It.
Yeah. And
someone else started it.
Yeah, and thank you all for being part of our podcast. We want to thank you for your support. But the best way you can support us is by subscribing to the podcast. Now, I will have to say, though, that Bob has had an opportunity a couple different times to go and to do presentations at our conference. We want to let everybody know, if you are one of our subscribers, you can go to the streaming website and you can watch your conference presentations as well.
There's more.
They're equally as awesome as this.
There's more.
That's phenomenal. Yeah. And without any commercial interruptions or anything like that. With YouTube, you got interruptions and whatever. I get that, but that's helps us to keep the channel going. So, thank you for that, and keep the faith, everybody.
Have a great day, folks.